So is Willis able to take all your scout team stuff? Do you want him to do the scout team stuff? Does he give you a little bit of a look like Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought both he and Sean are splitting those, or not necessarily splitting, but getting all those reps. It's just how we split those up. But yeah, I think both those guys did a nice job today, and we'll see how it goes throughout the course of the week. I know they're both putting in extra work post-practice because typically, you give your starting quarterback the bulk of the reps. It's always hard being a backup, just not getting your reps are the look team reps.
Matt, what's your message to your team about just the transportation, the logistics, and everything about this trip?
We're focused on the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that's all that's in our control, and that's what we're going to worry about, and that's what we're going to focus on ourselves, getting ourselves prepared to go play a really good football team. I mean, they're loaded with talent, got a lot of respect for their coaches in terms of what they do schematically. And so if we're looking at anything else, then we're doing ourselves a disservice.
You faced Fangio different defenses a bunch over the years. Because he's got such a long track record, does it make it easier to project what they might do, or do you think he might tinker a bit because of who he's got? How does that work generally?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns come week one. I think in terms of, first of all, I think Vic is one of one. There's a lot of guys that have tried to copy and emulate his scheme, and some guys have had success, but not to the level that he's had. And, he's one of the best in the game. And so it's going to be a great challenge. He does a great job of being able to take what you want to do and take it away. And he keeps you off balance. He's got enough within his scheme. And then you couple that with the fact that these guys have a lot of good players on the defensive side of the ball, particularly up front. It poses quite the challenge.
And do they look vastly different? I mean, you just played them in 22, but both their coordinators left after that. Do they look like a very different team than you saw?
Well, it's really hard to say because they've had some guys. I mean, a lot of guys, or some of the guys, didn't play in the preseason. Sweat didn't play. Huff didn't play. Slay didn't play. So, and I'm sure they didn't unleash everything that they have in their arsenal. So, I think week one's always it's a guessing game in some respect. I think that's why you really got to focus on what you do and knowing your rules inside and out, knowing the details of what you're trying to get done, and that's what we've emphasized to our guys. And then certainly it comes down to adjustments. You're going to have to adjust week one. At some point within the game, you're going to have to adjust. And whoever can typically do that better will probably win the game.
So, I mean, in terms of defense, they have a new defense coordinator. So, there'll be a couple similarities to what they've done before. Obviously, a lot of new faces, I feel like, from a couple years ago, especially in the secondary. But, it's a similar defense from what we've seen, from what I've seen being here, too, similar to that kind of style we've had before. So, we'll see. But obviously, I mean, first game, you got to be ready for some stuff you probably haven't seen before. So,
Jordan, how beneficial, how important was that night in Philly for you? And what do you remember about that night looking back?
Blast of the past, but it was one of those situations where you're the backup and starter goes down, you got to be ready to get up in there, and we did some good things that game. It was my first time trying to lead a comeback drive right there and come back win, and came up short, but we did a couple good things, and a lot of stuff for me personally to be able to build on and learn from getting some in-game experience. So I'm excited to see him again.
Jordan, you mentioned kind of having to be ready for anything week one. Matt just talked about how week one's kind of a guessing game in terms of skill. So as the quarterback, like how hard is that to sort of not really know what they're going to throw at you? No matter how much film you study or whatever, just what's the challenge there?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Week one is always is, and then you add on top of that new defense coordinator. So, we're watching a lot of film from where they came from, the Dolphins, and a lot of different stuff where, you got to remember, we're not playing some of the DBs that we might be watching on film, some of the guys and the Dolphins, things like that. So it's definitely tough. And then you add that part where you just don't know what they're going to do this year, if they might be, doing some new things defensively that we haven't seen in the past. So a lot of unknowns. So, you kind of just got to trust the rules of the game plan and kind of go out there, take that opening drive to get a feel. Like, we don't even know who might be out there, DB wise, front seven. So just taking that opening drive to get a feel for what their, blitz flavor of the days might be, and kind of how they're trying to play us.
Is that all it takes? You just need kind of one drive to kind of get a feel for, okay, this is how they're going to try to attack us. Is it a matter of quarters at one drive? How long does that take?
No, it's definitely not just one drive. I mean, opening drive is kind of when you kind of feel who's out there, what they might be trying to start with and do defensively. And then I think, once you get through a quarter into halftime, that's when you get a feel, okay, you've seen a couple blitzes, you've seen some of their coverage, some of their third down things they're trying to do. So it definitely takes well into the first half. But, I mean, on the sideline, we're going over everything and can kind of make those in-game adjustments and see what they're trying to do. But, just got to kind of play with it.
The mural of yourself that they have down there for you?
I saw that. Me and Jalen Hurts, that's very cool. Very cool.
What's your relationship like with Jalen?
Yeah, I know Jalen. Yeah, same draft class. Been around him a couple times, but I think he's a phenomenal player. I love the way he carries himself, and obviously his college career. Going from Bama to Oklahoma. I love his demeanor about the game and just his competitive nature.
What do you admire most about his game?
Yeah, I think he's just a dog. I think he's one of those quarterbacks who he's going to scramble and he's not going to slide. He's going to take some hits, and he's a bigger guy. So I think he just has that mindset. He's a very, very competitive player, I see, and I think just the way he is as a leader. Been that way since he started his rookie year. So I love just watching him play and get better every year.
Sean was saying he started scouting the Colts, the Eagles, even before the final week. Did you start doing any of that early?
Yeah, no, that's the week one game. We've been watching some tape on them for a while, and that's why it makes everybody so hungry to get out there, because you've been waiting for this game. You know when it's coming, and we've been studying them for a little bit.